Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you probably already know that I am in the middle of a series in which I am rediscovering for myself, and hopefully for some of us, a way of associating tarot cards with esoteric information. Now, I've already done several videos. I did an introduction video to the entire series, and I'll put a link up here, a card I should say, so that you can click on that and hop on over and begin there, just in case you haven't seen that. Because in that first video, I really describe what I am doing, why I'm doing it, and it is, I think, an important door, a portal into the rest of the series. So I suggest starting there. And I am calling this series Walking the Lines of Origins to Deeper Strata, with the subtitle of Peeling Back the Symbolic Palimpsest. Why did I call this series that? Well, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to move back beneath the layers of associations and symbols that have accrued on top of all of these cards. I'm trying to go back to, we can't say an origin, but rather an earlier stage of development of tarot. Yeah? Because I think that will be a little bit more pristine. I think it will be a little cleaner for me, particularly. So, what we're doing is we're looking at the esoteric, and when I say esoteric, I mean Kabbalistic and also astrological, elemental, associations with the Tarot. And now, with this video, we're beginning the minor arcana. Yes, we are primarily going to focus on astrology with this portion of the dive into associations with the Tarot. So, in this part of the series, we will look at the small cards. Yeah, the minor arcana, the numbered cards, not the quartz. That will come later. If we were to look at the entire rest of this series, there will be 6 more videos after this one. Yes, this is believe it or not, going to be a brief introduction. The next video is going to be a much longer introduction in which we are going to dive into the mechanics of how my associations that I have not invented for myself, not created, but that I have come to understand and I have organized for my pleasure. We're going to look at the mechanics of all that in the next video, and that's going to be long and it's going to be intense. So get ready for that one. Then we're going to have 4 more videos, so that will total up to 5. 1 for each of the 4 different suits, right? 1 for wands, batons, 1 for cups, 1 for swords, and 1 for pentacles or discs. Yeah? And then that last video, the 6th video that is remaining, that will be on the court cards. Okay? So that's how we're going to proceed. But before we begin, I'd like to say thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you for doing all of those things that you do. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Those things that you do help other people find us, and our community grows because of you. So thank you for those things. And also, for those of you who comment in the comment section, thank you also. You help the channel, you help other people find us, and you make my heart happy. I love hearing from you. So thank you for doing all of those things. Okay, friends, let's get started. And even though this is going to be a really short, very quick overview of the general ideas that we're going to begin exploring, just in case you know nothing about astrology, in that case, I suggest having a little pen and some paper to take some notes, because some of this information is going to be necessary for the rest of the series. Okay? Okay, so let me just say, because I don't know how much you know about astrology, we're going to start from the very, very basics. So, in case you know some or a lot, I apologize in advance, but let's begin. Yeah? So, let me show you some zodiacal information right now. What you see before your eyes is a list of information, right? On the left-hand side, you can see the zodiacal signs. There are 12 signs. It begins with Aries. The zodiacal year begins with Aries because that is the spring equinox, the beginning of the life of the year. Yes, so we begin with Aries, and then we move through Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and finally Pisces. And then we would go back and begin with Aries again, right? Now, in the central column, you can also see that these signs can be grouped by elements, right? There are 4 elements: fire, earth, air, and water. Now, I put them in this order because that's the order that they appear in the zodiacal wheel. So, first you see the fire elements. The fire element, there are 3 zodiacal signs associated with them, with it, and they are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. They're all fire signs. Next is the earth, and there are 3 zodiacal signs associated with the earth, and they are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Then we have the air element, and there are 3 zodiacal signs associated with the air, which are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And then we go to water. And the 3 zodiacal signs for water are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Okay? Now, there's another way that we can group these astrological signs, and that is by modality. There are 3 modalities. The 3 modalities are cardinal, which is the modality of initiation, of initiating, beginning things, starting the work. Then there's the modality of fixed, which is the stable modality. It's the not grounded so much. It doesn't have to be grounded, but it's secure. It's fixed. And then the third modality is called mutable. And the mutable modality is, I think of it as cleaning up at the end of the work and getting ready to move on to the next thing. Yes? So you can see that there are 4 zodiacal signs from each of the elements in each of the modalities. So the cardinal signs are Aries for fire, Capricorn for earth, Libra for air, and Cancer for water. Yes? And then we have 4 signs which are fixed. Leo is for fire, Taurus is for earth, Aquarius is for air, and Scorpio is for water. And then the 4 mutable signs. Yes? They are fire gives us Sagittarius, earth is for Virgo, air is Gemini, and water is Pisces. Now you can see all that pretty well, right? Now, the esoteric tarot has long associated these suits with the suits of the tarot with the elements. Maybe you probably already know that. So wands or batons are associated with fire. Cups are associated with water. Swords are associated with air. Pentacles are associated with earth. Pentacles or discs are associated with earth. Now, there's one more level of associations to look at. And let me show you another picture here. Yeah, you see this chart. Yes? And we'll look at this chart in much more detail when we get into the next video on the mechanics of this system. Yeah, but just look at the wheel itself. Now, you can see those signs that we looked at from Aries, going around Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, etc. You see that in the center? But then you see at the outside, there are smaller segments, right? So what's going on with this? This is a zodiacal wheel. Yeah, and if you recall from math, wheels or circles are divided into 360 degrees. And that is something that we as humans decided 4,000 or more years ago with the Sumerians and maybe the Babylonians. Yes? So we've had this all worked out in our heads for at least 4,000 years, if not more. So we have a wheel divided into 360 degrees. So we break that up into 12 signs. We divide 360 into 12, and we get 30 degrees. 30 degrees of the wheel for each sign. Yes? Now, because we like dividing things, we then divide each one of those signs of 30 degrees into 3 groups of 10 degrees. Those are called decans or decanates. Decans or decanates. So, for each sign is divided into 3 separate decanates. For each element, now something else to remember is that for each element, there are 3 signs, we saw that, and each one of those signs has 3 decans, each which totals to 9, right? 3 signs with 3 decanates each. 3 times 3 is 9. So that means the minor arcana maps very nicely onto this system with 1 card extra. Yes, we have 10 cards in the minor arcana, the numbered cards. So 9 of those cards are associated with the 9 decans of their 3 zodiacal signs for each element. Does that make sense? And then there's one more, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. So although the Golden Dawn used the Chaldean planetary sequence for this mapping, I'm going to be using a triplicity-based decan system that preserves what I think of as more elemental coherence. And the chart you see is the triplicity chart, not the Chaldean chart. So let's look at just one sign, right? Let's look at Aries. Do you see Aries? It's in one of those reddish triangles on the left-hand side of the screen. It kind of looks like, well, you can see the symbol on the left side of this wheel, right? Just find that symbol on the wheel, Aries. So we see the first decanate of Aries is Aries. Now, so for me, the 3 decans of Aries will be the fire signs of Aries and the planet Mars, Leo, and the Sun. The first decan of Aries is Aries of Aries. You can see that, right? You see the big Aries and then the little Aries at the end? So that means that we simply have cardinal fires attributes of Mars and Aries. Remember, Aries is a cardinal sign. So we have cardinal fires attributes with this decan. Now the second decan is the next fire sign, which is a fixed sign of Leo and the Sun. So it is the fixed aspect of cardinal fires attributes with the Sun in Aries. Do you see that? So Leo is fixed, Aries is cardinal. This is the Leo decanate of Aries, so it is the fixed decanate of cardinal fire. So we have a cardinal aspect, but we have the fixed quality of that cardinal aspect. And we'll talk about how that works out later on. Yes? Now, the third decanate of Aries is the last fire sign, which is Sagittarius. It's a mutable sign of Sagittarius, which houses Jupiter. So, it's the mutable aspect of cardinal fire's attributes with Jupiter in Aries. Does that make sense? If it does not really make much sense yet, that's okay. We're going to dive into this in much greater detail in the next video. I just wanted to give you a taste of what this is going to look like and how things are going to be arranged. So before you scream, no, 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 please give me a chance to clarify. Yeah? If you really want to see how this all works like a machine, and it does work like a machine, I invite you to watch the next video. Yes? The next video's title, I think, is going to be Welcome to the Engine Room of the Minor Arcana. So I welcome you to take a look at that. And there I'll explain the mechanics of the system I've chosen. And I'll also discuss how this system differs from the Chaldean system, which was used by the Golden Dawn, and many other tarot readers and tarot esotericists around the world now and in the past. Yes? But remember, the system I am using is not without precedent. There are other people who do this same thing, and there were other people who do this same thing or something similar. So again, I'm not creating something out of thin air. Yes? I am standing on the shoulders of giants. So, in the next video, we'll talk about all of that, and then we'll proceed into the next 4 videos, one per each suit, and then the final video on the court cards. Friends, okay? I hope that makes sense. And so, I will leave you with this. Yes, this is a short one. And I hope I didn't confuse you. And I will talk about all of this in much greater detail and much more slowly in the next video. So friends, let me leave you with this. Now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.